welcome to the nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group, where women are obviously welcome. And we're doing this book study of Rollo Tomasso. But before I do that, I want to register for these events. You can go to tinyurl.com/redpillmen. And what the group does is we talk about women, sexuality, dating, relationships, and politics, from a nonpartisan perspective, without any of the right-wing crap. And I've also combined this with a dating meetup. So there's a dating meetup here. And so what we're going to do here, let me share this with you. This is the link, and make sure to share, like, and subscribe. And what we're going to do is we're going over this book, The Rational Male. Let me see if I can get it in there. The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasso. And we're going through it slowly. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read from the book some, riff off the text a little bit, try and add some of my experience into it. And when I'm done, I want to open it up for discussion and comments, and for any questions or any issues that you guys may be having, we can talk about it. So hopefully some of the information, I think it's fairly okay. But why don't we just get started here, and then when I get done riffing, you can introduce yourself. You can talk, you can express yourself, and we can have a conversation. Okay. I have a question for you. You said marriage is so that a man can have sex, and she shouldn't deny a man sex. And yet, as a lawyer, I know that under the law, if a woman says no, marriage is not an absolute right to have sex. A woman still has the right to say no.
Of course, if she's
right.
not feeling it, or she has some sort of issues, physical, psychological, she's not gonna be there 100%. But what I'm saying is, like, she should not withhold sex to manipulate. That's for sure in a marriage. I'm not saying that's good. I'm totally opposed to that. But I don't see that. You were reading this book, and I was wondering, do you really believe this? Because when I date, yeah, it crosses my mind, how would this person would be in intimacy? But I'm not gonna cross that, because that for me is when you have more, this person better, their values, their character, and all of that. And if you are ready, yeah, go for it. But I think that shouldn't happen until later on, not when you meet the person, because there's a lot of women out there waiting for you to get paid, so you can have a fun time with them. So a valuable woman is not going to do that. And if she is taking her time to get to know you better, she will. So you want something with value, and you need to wait. That's for sure. She's not manipulating. There's a lot of women who has a lot of values. They're Christian. They believe in, and I know a lot of Christian women who does have relationship with their boyfriends before even going to get married. It depends on the person, but for me, that's for later on. At least if you're engaged and you're getting married, because this person is going to be there for you, is going to offer stability. That's what a man should do. Nowadays, I know women want to be bosses and want to be the president of companies and want to earn this much money. That's their issue. If they don't recognize they're females, that's something else. But there are women who are very comfortable in their femininity, and they're still feminine, and they still want a man who provides, and who is a man of God. So,
I appreciate your comments so much, Patricia, because this is a forum for people to express their views, and obviously people are different. I grew up in Christianity. My father was a pastor for a while. My mother still has a ministry to the church, so I'm familiar, and people have different things, and I think different views. And I certainly think that people who are religious should follow their religious convictions. If your religious conviction is no sex for marriage, you should follow it. I don't think that people really do that in reality. And this is one of the things that I think where the red pill comes is that we don't just listen to what women say and they do. We actually watch what they actually do.
Do.
Right. Not what they say, but what they do. It's behavioralism. And this is kind of harsh, but you know, it's one thing to say, I want to know a guy better. I want to know this guy. I'm not going to have sex. And I'm sure this is not you, Patricia. You're a Christian woman. You know, you have different values. You have different beliefs. You know, I can agree with some and disagree with others, I'm sure. But I always ask women this question: what's the waiting period for a male stripper? It's the time it takes his pants to hit the floor. You want to talk about what women believe, do, and behave? There are guys that they want to have sex with that they will have sex with at the drop of a hat. And then there are guys they want to have beta relationships with, provisioning relationships, and they'll make that person wait. And I'm not saying that women serially date men with no problem. They're allowed to go out to dinner with multiple men, to go to lunch with multiple men, to go to these dates and to see, you know, no sex, right? It's a coffee date, right? You're allowed to date. Why is it just because I'm a man that I'm not allowed to go on a lunch date? I'm not allowed to go on a dinner date with more than one woman. I'm not allowed to go on meet a woman for coffee.
There's a lot of men who do that. I mean, we have the right to choose to, and you too. So that's why you date. And then that's why if you are interested in someone, then you date that person until you get to know that person well. And I mean, like sometimes I'm like the kind of person who I do what I say I'm gonna do, and then the guy's like thinking, oh, she's not hard to get. It's not that. I don't feel like you have to be pursuing me like I'm a 15-year-old. But I let you, like, for me, it's important that he does do the pursuing at least at the beginning, because that means that he's interested. But after you become, sometimes, like for me, I say, okay, I'd rather go out than stay home. That's very honest. So I just say, yeah, let's go out. But I'm not waiting for him to invite me 4 times and then say yes, like I used to do when I was, 19, playing hard to get. So, I mean, I don't know. It's so confusing nowadays. It's like very, very challenging.
Yeah, well, it's important that to recognize, and I want to get to you, Kristen. I see you there. That we sort of really want men to drop their sexual strategy, their innate sexual strategy, and not date multiple women, but we allow women to do so because they are the sexual selectors. So, so if women think that, and really the attack on me is really very, some of the things are very innocent. Now, do I have to say no to sex when a woman offers? And do I have to live the life that you and have the beliefs that you have, Patricia, about relationships? I don't. I don't believe that. I think marriage is pretty much over, except for religious people, some people who want to have children,
No, the
and if
companies
the
that
woman has more money than you. Those are
I'm
the only
sorry,
reasons.
there is weddings all the time. People get married, and you know what? When you get married, you have to wait sometimes a year to book that date, because they're happening all the time.
Okay.
In July, in August, in December. There is no person
Yeah.
that,
I
yeah.
was
So
reading articles that were saying that the industry was in trouble. Go ahead, Kristen.
Okay. So obviously I have a lot of different questions. I put some in the chat. I think that there's a lot of blanket statements happening here and assuming that things are the same for everyone, because it's not. Even from man to man or woman to woman, you're going to have different patterns and different expectations and desires when it comes to dating. Some people are totally fine with their partner, whether it's male or female, dating other people while they're getting to know each other. Some people are fine doing that long term in polyamory and things like that. Or ethical non-monogamy, which is, these are things that are coming up as a big resurgence in our culture. So I think that, assuming that women are just against that also is faulty. And there's huge communities where that is not the problem. But I think you have to look at what your end game is. If you would like an intimate one-on-one relationship with a woman and you don't just want to date around and have those first, second, third dates, then you're going to have to, at some point, find a way to focus on that person that you're with and respect what they want in a relationship too. If they want to just have a one-on-one relationship with you, then you have to ask yourself, like, am I willing to put that into this relationship? I have not met any woman that is against guys at the very beginning dating other people. It's not, when you're just getting to know somebody, you're just getting to know them. There's not the level of commitment at that point. But I think that when you bring sex into it, it goes beyond just getting to know you. And I don't think that women use that, at least most. I can't use a blanket statement, right? But I don't think that most women use that as some kind of manipulation, because sex is very intimate and very personal and very vulnerable for women. It's not something that we harbor as this weapon that we can use to make men do what we want. It's something that we also want just as much as men, but we feel very vulnerable about it. So we need to feel safe. We need to feel secure. And we need to trust that our partner is going to have our best interest at heart.
There's a lot to be said about that. I think it's important to recognize this idea of how vulnerable women are. Really sort of is played against the scene of rampant prostitution and widespread sexual type of activity. If it's not actually sex, there's a lot of sex stuff going on. It's not this, I'm a pure innocent, need protection, need to be feel safe. Not always. Not always is that the case.
I think you're missing the point. Number one, prostitution primarily is sex trafficking. These are women and men that have been kidnapped and forced into the sex trade 99% of the time. That has nothing to do with how women in general feel about sex.
Actually, I don't think that's true at all.
It is true. You need to do some research. That is absolutely true. 100%.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, you need to do some research.
Not at all.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I get asked, I'm getting hit up all the time. I'm a man. I'm getting hit up all the time. It's not that these women are asking me because they're being trafficked. These women are asking me because they want to make money. That's why neighbors, women who do it on the side, this is not something that is uncommon. You walk into a damn pot shop and the women there are trying to get you to give them dollar bills and pay you to have sex with them. I mean, it's so widespread and so common. It's so common and that it cannot be what you're saying it is.
You're wrong. You need to do some research. If there are women hitting you up asking for money
all over the place
neighbors or whatever, okay, listen. Yeah. They're doing it because they're scared and they're being threatened. Yes. There are some women out there that have that personal power and they want to go out and use their body, and more power to them. But that is such a fraction of 1%. That's not at all what prostitution is at all. You need to do some research. I'm deadly serious.
I'm sorry.
And some of them want to take that choice because they enjoy it, but that doesn't mean all women are like that.
No.
Okay? Because
but they're capable of it.
well, if they're doing
Sorry,
it,
do we
yeah,
want to talk about what men are
choice.
capable of?
Well, men are capable of
their
things
choice.
too. So we're not in a comparison
You
here.
know,
We're talking
and-
about what women are capable of, the same things, right? It's not different. You said they like sex, that's just the
you
same.
know,
I disagree with that, by
too.
the way.
no,
I
and
think women
gonna
like
let
sex
you know.
less.
There is some woman that attend university, and because they want to pay for their studies,
Absolutely. There's a lot of women doing that.
they're
And
doing
good
A lot
this
of
for
and
women
them.
that,
doing that.
but they wanna have a stable life later on, and that's their choice. But not all women are like that.
I'm not
Your
saying all women,
And
of
not
course, not
everybody
everybody
who-
is the same.
woman is doing this, and it's not true.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
But-
it's
But
not.
like-
right, prostitution is defined specifically as having sex for money, right? But there's a lot of other ways that women have sex for other things, and it's financial. And two, so I don't use mere technical definitions to describe what I see going on. And the idea that somehow these women, a lot of these women are being trafficked, I have no doubt about them, but a
Me
lot of
too.
them are also in business for themselves. Just look at OnlyFans. Just look at
Sure.
all the things that are out
OnlyFans
there.
goes across all genders. It goes across all
does.
genders, and it's safer. And I absolutely support it. Any woman or
I
man who
oppose
wants
it.
to use
I
it,
oppose it.
I think it's
Oppose it.
fantastic. Anybody
think-
that wants to use it for themselves,
I
good
think
for
it's a scam on men. I think it's taking
Women
advantage
subscribe.
of men's loneliness and despair, and it's making bank off of
It is
men's
making bank.
misery. Making bank off of men's misery. That's what
I
it
don't think
is.
it's misery. There's a lot of
It
happy
is misery
men
if you have
that-
to
that
pay
enjoy it and
money
have
for
women.
that. Women don't
You can
deserve
go
to
and
be
find
paid for
anything
that.
that you want on the internet for free. People who choose OnlyFans do it because they want to. And
Yeah,
I'm
well,
happy for
that's their
them.
mistake. That's why we call it only fools, right?
That's why you call it Only Fools.
A lot of us call it only fools.
Well, you're in a special group, aren't you?
Yeah, I am in a special group because I suffered severe sexual abuse at the hands of women. So I know what the heck
Yes,
is going on.
So did my
I'm not
husband.
being
But that
tricked.
doesn't mean that women are sexually abusive as a whole.
There's a lot of sexual abuse going on. Go ahead, Min. Cindy, you have something to say? You have to unmute yourself.
I'm finding this whole thing very absurd.
Yeah.
I'm an older woman, and I find that I am love sex, and when I'm dating, I'm looking for someone to have sex with and
Thank
to
you.
be intimate.
Thank you.
And I'm not dating. If I'm on a dating site, I'm not looking for a friend. Okay. I may spend 8 to 18 months chatting with a guy, getting to know him online, talking on the phone. And then when we finally meet, he wants to judge me for being sexual.
Bullshit. It's
And
bullshit.
that's what I'd run into.
Yeah.
And then he
Bullshit
doesn't
for
call
him.
me back if I want sex after spending up to 2 years courting some guy. And then when I finally meet him and he judges me because
Bullshit. That's
he
crap.
wants to meet me 16 times before I have sex with him.
This
Bullshit.
is
Forget
the
it.
problem. This is the problem. I totally agree with you because men are considered able to go out and do that. They can go and they can have sex with whoever they want to.
Mhm.
And I have no judgment about that. Good for them. But as soon as women do, we're prostitutes. We're whores.
No, prostitutes charge money. There's a difference.
You said
don't-
yourself that you feel like
I don't
it's a
charge
transaction.
money. I
Well, a
don't
lot of
charge
them are-
money.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. Thank you.
I do
You know?
not. And as a matter
Thank
of
you.
fact, half the time, most of the time, I pick up the tab.
Awesome.
I honestly,
Awesome.
and then they judge me. So no,
Bullshit.
I run into that, and I am looking for, I look for somebody who isn't going to judge me because I'm in it for the sex. I'm in it. I want a man in my bed,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm looking for. And if he's not willing to be there every night, and yes, I want him faithful. And just because I have sex with him doesn't mean that I'm unfaithful. And he doesn't give me the benefit of a doubt. It's horrid out there.
It's a losing
Horrid.
game for women.
And
Well,
you know, they're
no,
men, you need to look up. There's a neuroendocrinologist that is a professor at Stanford. His name is Robert Sapolsky. And I suggest you watch some of his YouTubes on human sexuality. And this is a bullshit game, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I personally, I consider myself still dating, even though I've been with the same person going on the 5th year. And why am I still dating? I'm not seeing anybody, but my attitude is because he won't commit. But he did not judge me, and he's in my bed, and I love him. Oh, I love him so much. But he broke up with me on the 2nd date, and he's still leaving. But we're going on 5 years. What the hell? But he's different. He's a different guy. Between him and many years ago, when someone I loved died in my arms, dating between that time was traumatic. I cried a lot. I would go to the gym and work out on Friday nights instead of going to the bar and getting in trouble. Okay, just in my heart ached all the time. And I would, you know, finally meet a guy after talking to him for 18 months, have sex with him because that's what I'm looking for. And then he would assume I was a whore. This happened to me time and again. This last one didn't judge me. And he still, even though he says he's leaving, it's other reasons. He loves me. And he didn't judge me. And we knew we liked each other going in. And I tell these guys I want to have sex, and they immediately change their whole attitude about me. I've never asked a man for a dime. I've put men through school. I've supported men through medical school. I've taken care of men. I listen to him breathe at night to make sure he's okay. I am a nurturer. I'm a fantastic cook. And I love sex.
Yeah, well, maybe
So,
you should get together with Richard.
yeah, I sent you my number, so give me a call or text. But the main thing is that, hey, what's our relationships about but mutual desire? That's what that's the basis. I had a relationship 23 years, a woman come over on Fridays, boom, and that was it. Never introduced me to her family, never wanted
I
a
don't want that.
relationship.
Friends with
Yeah, I
that.
don't
I
like
don't want
that
that.
either. That's why I've ended the relationship. And when I said that, when I said that a woman has to commit to me before her friends and family, before I will be exclusive to her. That's my standard. And that's because a woman will, and a lot of women may not do that, but that's because the last woman I with didn't do that. You know, the last woman I was with, you know,
That doesn't mean they're all like that.
yeah, but most women won't do that, you know. But these are the illicit relationships. They start off as secret, they end as secret. But the point is, illicit relationships can start in secret. If you have an affair or something like that, they start in secret. I've never been married, by the way. So, the point is that what she brought to that relationship was genuine desire. That's what she brought to that relationship. You know, that was the most genuine thing.
Desire.
Yeah, genuine desire. And that's what's going to hold you together.
Real passion.
Passion. That's what brings you together.
And then I get judged for it.
Yep. Right, bullshit. Don't get judged for it.
I get judged. They think I'm a whore because I like sex.
They're stupid.
And I like intimacy.
They're stupid.
And I'm all over that, man.
Right.
And then I get no callback. Come on.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No shit. Yeah. I end up crying. I flee and go swimming all summer crying after these dates. I end up with stalkers, or you know, it's crazy. I have to lock my house. It's scary. Dating is so risky.
Yes.
It's so risky. You have to put yourself out there and put yourself on the line and put yourself at risk.
This is why I say safety. Being safe is so important.
Or be lonely.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to church. Those church gentlemen won't take a second look at me. You know, it could be because you know, I've seen this time and time again. Men go after the crazy, mean, unstable bitches. They win every time. And the most important thing about being a woman for them is that their ass is smaller than their head. Yeah. I've seen this so many times. Doesn't matter what her education, does she keep house well? Is she a good cook? Has she got skills? Is she intelligent? None of that matters. What matters is the size of her ass. And then I mean, I've seen it time and again. The dumb, unstable, mean bitches get the guys.
Yeah. Well, we also talk. Yeah. We also talk about how women tend to want the jerks too. You know, we see that from our side too. Yeah.
Maybe.
But
there is something to that. And I would like to speak to that, because you're not wrong in that regard. There are different attachment styles, right? I don't know if you've looked into that for yourself or for the partners that you have, but there are different attachment styles. And people that have anxious attachment, especially who have been abused or abandoned in their past, will absolutely stick to somebody who's an asshole. And that has very little to do with the person that they're with. It just has to do with not wanting to lose a person. The people can't do enough wrong to make them leave. If they were to attach to a good man, the same thing would happen. But you see men that are terrible men who prey on women who have anxious attachment, and they know they can keep them. They can do anything they want to, but they still get to keep them.
I think, I think there's people who do prey. Women prey too.
Sure.
On men. And there's a narcissistic component also. You got to be careful about that. I just learned recently about that, and recognizing when you're with a narcissist and how to get out of that. But so what I really appreciate about this conversation that we're having is we have 4 different points of view here, 4 different perspectives: Patricia, Christian, Cindy, and myself. And that is so filling of this, rather than it being me and all the women being, you know, against me because I'm a man and I must be the bad guy.
Nothing to do with being a man.
Yeah.
No.
But
no, it's not because you're a man. No, it's not that. It's just that men and women are different. That's why there's a book saying that is titled "Men Are from
Mars,
Mars and Women from Venus. We're wired differently." And that's the mystery, you know, and it's interesting.
It's time to stop pretending. Time to face reality. Donald Trump will be the Republican candidate for president. There's a battle ahead like nothing we've ever seen. The fate of your country, your family, and your freedom are on the line. You can't win this on the debate stage or with policy papers. He is more cruel, more desperate, and more dangerous than ever. He'll use violence and chaos. He'll fight dirty. That's why you need fighters on your side who hit just as hard. People who walked away from the Republican Party and know how to fight it. We're the Lincoln Project. We're not liberals. We're not progressives. We're former Republicans who put country over party. We're Americans who know unless we stop Trump, he will end this democracy we cherish. We're all in to defeat Trump, break the MAGA movement, and end this chaos. It's America or it's Trump.